Good evening. Well, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, or wherever you are.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here to open another one of these town halls. So, as many of you may know, but if anyone's new in the room, we have a few housekeeping items before we start. So just a quick reminder that these town halls are recorded and will be available for playback on this app and the Hospitable YouTube channel. So you should subscribe to that tomorrow, and you can listen to the replays and share with any of your fellow co-hosts or friends, as Matthew said. We'll get started with some company updates and let you know what's going on with the business. So Pierre will be doing that, and then we'll open a Q&A session. So when the time comes, raise your hand through the app, and we'll invite you folks up on stage to ask your questions. Please remember to mute yourself when you're on stage and aren't speaking as a courtesy, and please remember to unmute yourself when you come up on stage. It's the bottom right hand of the little app there. And if you aren't comfortable coming up on stage, you can ask your questions in the chat, and we will bring some of those up in the Q&A session and escalate them to get answered. So without any further ado, I give the microphone over to Pierre for the company updates.
Yes, thank you very much, Daniel, for the intro. I'm sorry for my voice. You're gonna have to struggle twice more now, not only with the French accent, but also the French accent with the nose plugged, and on top of that, with my beautiful daughter Clara that you can hear, who I have to take care of during this evening in Brussels. Which is good because I don't have much to say, and the thing that I do have to say are actually going to be said by Joe. Joe is starting in the company today. And so as is a ritual for everyone joining the team, basically I'm simply gonna start by asking him to introduce himself. Who is Joe? What is he doing? What's his hobby? And what is he gonna be doing for Hospitable? Joe, for yours. You can unmute yourself by yes. Oh my God, Joe.
Yes,
Oh my
I
God,
got
Joe.
it.
Oh, you're a blessing. Really, in so many ways. You already know to unmute yourself on Clubhouse. That's
You
like
just
a
earned
Nobel
your
Peace
first
Prize right
raise.
now.
Well done, Joe. Well
There,
done.
Wow.
there we go. I've
Give
passed
this
the
man some
test.
tacos. Pass the test.
That passed the test. This is how all you get fully employed. So now I'm fully employed here. uh, Pierre, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So yeah, my name is Joe Samflone. I am based in Long Branch, New Jersey, which is in the United States. Um, Hobbies, I think you said. So my hobby, I love hiking. That's one of the things I love to do, which it's very flat here, obviously, in a shore town, but I try to go out to different places and hike around and get lost in the wilderness because my job and what I'm going to be doing here, I'm a principal software engineer, so I'm on the computer a lot. I do a lot of coding. I've been a programmer since I was, in high school is where I kind of started, and I've been, programming and building things and working at companies from, startups and seed companies to, really large advertising agencies and really large, corporations just in general, building things and working on products. What I'm going to be doing here, uh, hopefully making the product better, seeing what I can do, where I can jump in, how I can help. I want to, make everyone. I think the job in the first few days of a developer is don't break anything. The job after that is how can I make things better? How can I speed this up? How can I make the lives of our customers and users better? So that's my goal. That's what I'm here to do. So I, look forward to meeting many of you, all of you at some point. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that, Joe. So you're going to be heading, running, leading, principling the core and connectivity team. So that actually, to cut it short, is really the product that our customers know and love today. So that's everything from the connection to Airbnb and all the channels that we integrate with, and basically our entire product. So that's a super wide scope. And just to highlight, we're super happy to have Joe on board for many reasons. But one of the highlights that is what we are super happy with is really that Joe is actually going to be the first developer that we're having on the other side of the Atlantic. That's something that we wanted to achieve for 2023, and we are going to be able to do so with a very senior engineer with Joe, so that will allow us to probably recruit more people in the Americas in general and make our engineering team even more distributed than it is today. It's always been very centralized and focused on Europe, which is great. But just that's where our customers are based in the US. And so if we want to support them, it's also always useful to have developers on the other side of the Atlantic. I know, Joe, that we told you that multiple times in the past few days since you started on Monday, but that really is a big deal for us. We
Yeah.
need to, we need to schedule a meeting and things like that, so that it's more working for US folks at this point. So thank you very much. Now you will be joined hopefully quite soon by another senior product manager that's going to be helping specifically on core and connectivity issues, so prioritizing issues that are solutions rather for our customers are facing on the current scope of the product, and also working on new products and new features. So having someone dedicated on that, and if my intuition is right, that person will be based in Atlanta, in Georgia, in the US. So having also the first product hire located in the United States. Now we are winning sometimes we're losing. Just a moment ago, we got an offer that was rejected for a director of support position at a gross compensation of just around $135,000. Hope you heard that. Did you hear that? All the parents basically rejoiced a little bit by hearing that. So we basically are going to be back to recruiting for a director of support. Why does it matter? We are getting ready for a very busy 2023. Our company has been growing close to 100% this year, whether you count it on number of customers. It's not over, but it's going to be happening in this direction nonetheless. Close to 100% in customer count, close to 100% in terms of revenue. So 2023, whatever happens, is going to be pretty epic for us. The thing is that we've always been quite light on management. We were a team on doers and makers. And that basically goes often at the risk of not appreciating managers and leaders at the right level. But now we really needed to invest a lot more resources onto those kind of more senior people and managers and leaders in our company. So, and the last wave of recruitment that we are completing. So that brings us to basically a total team size of 34, hopefully going to 36 in upcoming weeks. Which is basically a significant improvement, as always, from the beginning of the month of August, where we were 2021. Now, Matthew was alluding to some exceptional intel that I got. It's really, I can't imagine the number. We cannot imagine the amount of work that need to be done for me to get those numbers in terms of maturity of the company. It's always taking one way, but hey, it's nice when there's something good and positive happening out of it. We basically were asked a questionnaire, obviously, for assessing for the underwriting of a direct product for the payment processing piece, and I'm sure there are going to be plenty of questions about it again. But that gets us an opportunity to really take a deeper dive into our own data, into our own database. And I'm sure that's something that you're really asking us more and more to expose to you. But now I can basically share a few of those. Those are numbers that are across the entire history of Hospitable. So starting, we launched in 2016. We're just a company that is 6 years old, currently helping 42,000 properties invoiced on a month-to-month basis. So the average lead time is actually across all channels around 34 days. That means that basically, if you have a guest booking tonight in Brussels, they would probably be checking in within the next 34 in 34 days. Exactly. And that's important for us, obviously, from a payment processing point of view, because that's the amount of time during which we're expected to keep those funds until they are distributed to host. How much are those reservations worth? Well, the median subtotal amount, and those words, if you are in the industry, if you've been in the industry for quite some time, you know a bit that those are pretty opinionated, is basically $944. So that means 50% of reservations, for 50% of our reservation, the price set by host for a stay is $944. And there are wild variations that was honestly a surprise. And that's just, I can break that down for you, with also a bit of an idea on the scale that we've reached as a company. We have 7,260,000 Airbnb reservations that were processed. And for Airbnb, the average subtotal is $744, so $200 less than the median. And that's actually, that doesn't quite align because that's realized it's an average. Anyway, for VRBO, which is everyone's second channel, especially in the US, that's 792,000 VRBO reservations that have been processed so far historically since our launch. That represents just 9% of the total amount of reservations that we have currently installed in our database. And the average subtotal is $3,000. So just basically, 4 or 5 times what Airbnb subtotal is. So that's a little bit of a goal, a little bit of a surprise, but obviously the sample size is very reduced. And I believe we also have obviously a very strong bias towards, and that platform also has a very strong bias towards vacation rentals, which tend to be obviously larger homes for larger occupancy, and destinations that are more expensive for vacation types. You see, there has been some protest behind the scenes. In terms of our own business, for our revenue growth, I was checking that just earlier. We are close to $375,000 a month now, which means that we are going to be passing $4.5 million annual run rate quite soon, which is basically almost on schedule. Yeah, almost on schedule. We basically always plan to add about $500,000 in annual revenue per quarter. So we are not going to end the year with passing $5 million. Nonetheless, that would have been really wild. But I'm pretty sure we can take bets now. We just came back from Las Vegas, so we can be betting types. Bet for when we're going to have cross the 5 million mark, which was 6 years in the making. And I think that's going to be somewhere in the middle of January, which would be quite nice to start the rest of the year. All of that is basically reinvested into our product, reinvested into our support. We grew a company 70%, and that took a lot of time and a lot of effort in our teams. And the next level is going to be scaling sales, marketing, and support organizations. And on that note, that's the best transition for marketing. And for marketing and Matthew's updates, someone is very much looking forward to it.
She just wants to hear that voice. I'm flattered.
I think there's a poopy happening.
We'll probably start having Miles share some of these updates with you, so you can enjoy them from Matthew while they last. But to get started, we had a Hospitable masterclass with Tony J. Robinson, which is now available on our YouTube channel. It was amazing. I love Tony. I love the content he provides. He shared some amazing tips on how to analyze your investments, really about establishing long-term partnerships to help you continue to fund those investments. And then, what to do to drive your investment funding, and just much, much more. Just really practical, really down-to-earth knowledge, I guess you could say, really straightforward. So take a look at that YouTube channel. Daniel's going to share the link with you in the chat. Click that like button, click that subscribe button to stay up to date on all of our industry insights that we upload. We have some fantastic content in there that can really help you up your short-term rental game. And we're not just throwing Hospitable down your throat. I can promise you that. The Hospitable Host podcast is also coming up with a brand new episode. We recorded it with Daniel and Adam from Host Financial. And the discussion was also around how to finance your next short-term rental. So we discussed the future of short-term rental investments. Don't be afraid. Go make that leap right now. Then the pros and cons of the different ways of financing short-term vacation rentals. We talked about some of those things that are outside of the traditional, mortgage route that were really interesting and seemed really exciting. So there's some great insights to take a look at. Keep your eyes open. We'll be sharing that. You don't want to miss it. And you can find that entire first season of Hospitable Hosts on any of your favorite platforms. Go check out Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, of course, Spotify, my personal favorite. But we have some, again, fantastic content in there that's really going to help you take your STR game to the next level. So the next Hospitable Hosts workshop is going to be coming up on December 8th. With these workshops, we take some of our own hosts, some experienced Hospitable hosts, and we discuss everything that you're going to need to know about how to handle emotional support and service animal requests. So, that's a bit of a tricky subject. I know some of us are a bit concerned about the potential. We know that there are people out there who may not exactly have that, but of course we need to honor those that are making those requests. So keep an eye out for that invite coming soon. Make sure to register and join us. Pierre is going to be hosting that one, so you're going to have some fantastic content and definitely some legalese, so you can really understand where you sit when it comes to that topic. On the sales side, nothing really out of the ordinary that we've heard. Same people are asking for the same things, right? They want direct, they want payment processing. We're finding continually people are branching out, adding more and more channels. But even, of course, with that, Airbnb, VRBO, those are still the bread and butter. And that's really about it on the sales side as well. Just producing some new content and making sure that our hosts have access to understand a bit more about Hospitable with some YouTube videos and, some group demos that we've been modifying. And that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Alyssa. Alyssa, hey, how are you? I miss you. It was great hanging out with Alyssa in Vegas. I loved hanging out with the team. It was such a blast, but I kind of missed them. I'm not going to lie. I kind of miss hanging out with you all. So, hey, Alyssa, what's going on the support side?
Hi, Matthew. It was actually super great hanging out with everybody in Vegas. I love working remote, and I've done it for years, but now and then it's nice seeing faces. So a couple updates for support. We have had several team members that are out sick this week and last week. We're doing our best to stay on top of things, and people are slowly getting better. So if you have had to wait a little bit longer to get any questions answered, that's kind of what's going on there. And also there is an upcoming retreat for the European team, and the support team will actually be presenting our ideas for new projects so that we can act as your voice in expressing any concerns, ongoing issues, or improvements to our product and engineering teams as they work out a plan for the next year. So we're all actually very excited about that. Not the entire support team won't be there, but we'll be kind of collaborating on this presentation beforehand. So we're really excited to kind of represent you in that respect. And I believe that is all for me. So I'll pass it on to Andrew.
Thank you. On a personal note, I worked all day from the immigration office of the Florence Police Department today. So I'm very happy to be out of there and talking to you lovely people right now. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of the bad news, which, as most of you are probably aware, we did have an outage with VRBO just at we're now in kind of week 2 of that. So that was on Monday the 7th that started. Basically what happened is the endpoints that we use to authenticate to your VRBO account, those got basically blocked without notification from VRBO. Our engineering team was able to jump on that. They worked through the night, and we were able to restore to those new endpoints. But there's still a problem existing for some users if you haven't already gone back in and reconnected your account with the 2FA. So we've got a number of accounts that are still in the 2FA required state, two-factor authentication, meaning you're being challenged to authenticate your VRBO account. You should have been notified about that, but if you haven't done that yet, please get back into your Hospitable account and reconnect with VRBO. So that's no longer a blocker for you. Ongoing, we're still monitoring it. I think the issues we're seeing now are basically related to some price syncing issues, particularly with Price Labs and Airbnb. We did just deploy some changes though, and we're seeing improvements on that price syncing issue. But otherwise, again, the kind of the remaining item to do is make sure your VRBO account has been reconnected now that we're connected to the new authentication endpoints. And we should be pretty close to smooth sailing with VRBO as a channel. On to the better news that's easier to deliver, which is what's getting released. So I know we've been talking about Smartlocks for a long time. We've been very careful releasing those integrations because they have critical impacts. So they spent a long time in private pilots, then they went to beta. Remote lock is out to full all Hospitable users now. So anyone with a remote lock account can use that. Where we're turning our attention now, I mean, we've got, August and Yale are both in beta. We're doing stuff with Smart Things that's coming up next. But what we're looking at now is kind of the edge cases for Smartlocks. Again, they're high impact features if they go wrong, and there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. So, locks can be, offline, they can get disconnected from your Wi-Fi. The integration we've done can do things that it didn't expect it to do. Your lock memory on your device can get full. And so what we're doing is kind of looking at different fallback behaviors. So backup codes, different messages that we can send to the guest if that code fails to get generated for your check-in messages. So just overall looking at how we can enhance and improve and make that a more reliable integration, since it is so critical for you all. Small updates on the team messages, and I think this was actually a feature request from a previous town hall, maybe several town halls ago. But we weren't, when you send messages to your team, there's an option to copy you as the owner by email. That wasn't happening on SMS messages when you sent a text message to your teammates. So we've now changed that button. Instead of send a copy, it's now send a copy via email. And so then both email and SMS messages, you will get a copy and you'll get visibility into all the reminders and messages that go out to your cleaning team, for example. What else we're working on? Actually want some feedback from you guys that are here tonight. I'm going to share a link to the Conflux where we track our feature requests and ask for any feedback on the iCal import feature, which is kind of a pending feature for us. There's I think for beta users, you're able to add platforms that we don't. You can add their iCal feed to import that data into your calendars. We've been analyzing those. Thank you for everyone who participated by adding iCal links. We're kind of in that stage of figuring out, what quality of data we get from all these different platforms and what we can do with them. I think the next step we're looking at is blocking your calendar based on those iCal feeds. So if you can give us some feedback, if yes, that's the right thing you expect to happen, if it's TripAdvisor, if it's Logify, etc. If we get dates through that iCal feed, should we be blocking those dates on your calendar? What else? Lots of stuff happening on Direct. We're running basically a fully resourced team now on Direct. So the integrations, some of the major pillars of Direct as far as payments, payouts, and taxes, we're nearly there on those integrations. We've got kind of functioning test environments going. So that's massive milestone for Direct to have that going. Next kind of pillar we're starting on is guest vetting. So we as a platform and you as a host, we want to give you the good data you need to make a decision on a booking inquiry, whether or not this is someone that you want in your home. And then the direct site templates, these are probably the closest to getting released. I know we've shared kind of the 10 new templates for your direct sites in previous town halls. I hate to pin us down on a date, but I think by the next town hall, you should be able to have access to all those and switch your templates and have nice, beautiful new direct booking sites. So we're going to try to stick to that. We're very close. We've done a lot of the work on that, so those are almost ready to go. And then one of the updates, not direct related, but one of the ones I think we're most excited about is that command bar update. And again, that is actually available now. So you guys are welcome to try it out. It's just command if you're on Mac, the command K, or if you're on Windows, control K, I think, or the Windows K. And that will launch your kind of global search within Hospitable. Right now, that is not searching everything we want it to search, which is like conversations, bookings, guest names, etc. That's the part where we're waiting on to release it really to the public. So we're just kind of talking about that now as a upcoming feature. But you can navigate within the product just by typing on direct or typing settings or taxes, anything, and you can just jump to these pages. It's a super quick way to navigate. I think you'll be activated and excited about it as soon as you use it the first time. But yeah, Command K or Windows K to try that out now. And I think that was enough from me on the product side. I'll flip it back to PC if he can still talk.
Alyssa can. I'm sorry, everyone, but that's basically very tough to have to play with the kid at the same time as running a company. That's very challenging. It's fine. Plenty of people do that. So yeah, thank you very much for the updates. So we definitely to go. Andrew talked to you in a best of ways, basically about VRBO and the incident that we have experienced. So if you basically have a problem reconnecting your accounts, please make sure to, if you have a problem, reset your password so that you can reconnect again. I'm going to stop here and you can move to the next segment, please.
Alrighty. So we have the Q&A coming up now. I see that we do have Tracy Brown. Matthew and Alyssa have been firing away answers in the chat, but quicker than I can put them down, so thank you for that. But we will invite Tracy up to speak now.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey, okay, three things quick. I just got a cancellation and it didn't go connect to VRBO, and I am connected. So it just happened a couple minutes ago. At 10:43 a.m. I had a cancellation, and I got a message from you guys saying that it didn't unblock on VRBO.
Okay.
So I'm still
So
having
definitely.
problems with VRBO.
Yep. And so you've made sure to unblock that date, and then I would just share that with the support team for them to double check. If you are connected, like we said, like you said, make sure that you reach out to the support team, let them know. They could take a look at that and see if there's anything further that we need to investigate there for sure.
Okay, and then also my locks, they're all messed up. I'm getting different properties, like guests assigned to different properties. And I hope they said that they were checking into it, but I'll get one property going to another property, and it's all messed up. And it's been like that. It's been like that for weeks.
It's been like that for weeks, you say. So
Yeah.
I just got Ray sent me a message, said I'm taking care of Tracy there. So I know he suggested a few troubleshooting tips to you, and it's been escalated to our engineers for sure.
Okay.
Ray will give you another ping follow up there to make sure.
What he had me do was unmatch them and rematch them. But then after that, I got another message after I did that saying it couldn't connect.
Still?
Yeah. Still having problems. But I tried that. I unmatched them all. I did it and then rematched, completely started over and rematched them all.
Okay.
And I still got that message, so it's something.
Yeah. No worries. I know Ray just took a look at that, so he'll be sure to add that over to the escalations here with the engineers. But again, with all these items, like the absolute best way, it's always going to be to your advantage. Just go right to that support chat or email us at support@hospitable.com. Let us know as soon as something's amiss there, because our support team has the capability to dive into those issues, take a look at what may be happening there on the back end, and if need be, escalate it to an engineer. And we have a great engineering team right now. Christian's on this call. He's probably jumping on it right now to take a look for you, Tracy. But
okay, yeah. And the only reason I mentioned the VRBO one is because you mentioned it was kind of smooth sailing now. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh shoot, not really for me,
Yeah, we're seeing it for the vast majority of our customers that everything is kind of back to normal there, but there are still some instances popping up. Absolutely, of course. So yeah, thanks for bringing that to attention. We always appreciate when, I know sometimes people feel like, oh, I'm a bother. No, it's great when you share that information with us, because then our team can actually take a look. We can solve those bugs so that the next 10 hosts don't have them if they do pop up. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. Things should work exactly as you expect it to. And when it doesn't, we have a great support team there to help support you and make sure that we're escalating those over to engineers or, helping you with some configuration issues that may arise. So definitely don't hesitate. I know Ray's on it, sending me Slack messages. Thanks, Ray. You're the man. If there's anything else that pops up, because you said you had 3, right? So we talked about VRBO, we talked about Smartlocks.
Yeah,
one more.
3
for us?
Okay, you just mentioned about verifying guests, or like researching them or whatever to see if they're a good fit, or what do you guys plan to do that?
So when it comes to guest vetting, Andrew, you want to take this one and give a bit more of what's the plan there on the guest vetting for direct side?
Yeah. So we've already got an integration with like AutoHost, right, where you can connect your own AutoHost account. This is going to work a little bit differently with direct booking, and I'm talking about like what we call like the direct premium, where it's all kind of as turnkey as possible. Hospitable will actually connect our AutoHost account, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to set a threshold, because as the merchant of record for that transaction, we also need to feel comfortable with the amount of risk involved in the transaction with that guest. So if that guest clears our threshold, then we're going to let them make a booking inquiry, and we're going to share that information from AutoHost with you. So when you receive a booking inquiry, you're going to get that report that has all the kind of the trust score that we've collected along the kind of the credit card authorization and information collection stage. And we're going to give you as much as we can for you to make that decision and accept that booking. And at that point, after they've cleared both our payment trust score, so our payment provider will also give us kind of a credit fraud score on the user. We're going to get the guest vetting score, and then we're going to share as much of that information as possible with you. Then you accept the booking finally, and that's what we're talking about when we talk about guest vetting.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking it was like, just kind of maybe doing a background check on the guest. I had somebody that tried to do actually instant booked on VRBO the other day, and when I Googled their phone number, they were an escort service. And the title on Google said, "Are you looking for a place to stay for a good time in Green, in my city, And it's like, luckily I Googled them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I called VRBO. I'm like, okay, I have an escort service that are trying to stay with me. And then they started messaging me, and I'm like, oh, then then all of a sudden when I was talking to VRBO, I'm like, oh my gosh, they just got my address because I forgot to. I told my daughter, I said, the first thing I need to do if I have a guest I need to cancel before I call VRBO, stop the message to him. Because when I was talking to VRBO, I'm like, oh my gosh, I saw the, email come through that you guys were sending them. I'm like, oh my gosh, now they have my address. You mean?
Oh no.
So with AutoHost, that's exactly, that type of thing that they're looking for. They're taking a look at phone numbers. They're taking a look at email addresses, social channels. We had an absolutely fantastic masterclass with Pierre. And was it Ella from AutoHost? So if you'd like, go take a look at that. And I think too, we actually had a town hall where Roy jumped on from AutoHost and kind of talked us through what are the different checks that they go through. It's super robust. It's more than just a name search. So things like that would pop up that, hey, this phone number may be high risk. And then that would lower the score or potentially give you some sort of warning. So that's the idea, is that we won't have any escort services booking your property when our information comes through.
Because on VRBO, we love VRBO. We do great with VRBO. So, but we're just a little apprehensive because there's really no way to really, check them out and stuff like that. And we have so many good guests that we were thinking about taking instant book off, but 99.9% of our guests are great on VRBO. But, when this escort company came through, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad because all of a sudden it just threw up red flags. I don't know why. They booked for the next day, and then they contacted me and they wanted me to come that night. And I'm like, I don't know. I just thought I'll Google their email. I Google the phone number, and then I, saw it when it says when you have want a good time, when you come to town. I'm like, holy cow! That was this, And then they started messaging me, texting me once they got my phone number and said, hey, what's going on? Why did you cancel me? And luckily, VRBO, when I called the rep, he understood. He goes, you need proof. I'm like, please Google their phone number. If that's not enough proof, I'll have to cancel on my own because I don't care, because they were trying to say, was it because of this? And then they didn't tell me what that was. You mean?
Yeah. And Tracy, I think you did the right thing there by, jumping in, doing your research, right? There are those red flags that you want to look out for, those last minute bookings. I mean, maybe the reviews aren't there. Maybe they're asking or sending some shady information. In a perfect world, we'd have a system that would catch that, but we know Airbnb and VRBO, they're not doing that much on the front end to make sure that that their guests are of a certain quality. So paying attention to those different items, that's something that you're going to have to do to protect yourself. And you did a great job there by doing that, making sure that you're taking those steps and protecting your property. So that's awesome. Was there anything else, Tracy, or were those the three?
That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Tracy,
Alrighty.
we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We always love when Tracy shows up here. We always appreciate your questions. You have a good rest of your day, Tracy. Ciao, ciao.
Alrighty, Tracy, I'm going to move you back to the audience now. And we have Calvin, who's next up.
All right, Calvin, what do you got for us? Oh, we're not even on stage yet, are we?
I just invited him, maybe.
Come on, join
maybe he's
us,
unable
Calvin.
to join.
The water's fine.
Hey, there we go. There he is. He's up.
All right, Calvin, here's the test. Can you unmute yourself? He did it. Well done. Oh, yep, there we go. What's going on, Calvin?
How you all?
I'm living the dream, man. Living the dream. How about yourself?
Doing pretty well. So I like the platform. I like Hospitable because I don't have to worry about messaging. But the one thing I want to get off my back is the smart locks to make sure my guests can enter and exit efficiently without me having to worry about, oh, do they have a code? So I understand that you all are integrating with August slash Yale. They're kind of like one company now, and they have an integration with Airbnb directly. But the issue that I have with that integration is that they send a code for each individual lock for one house, and I'm like, if I was a guest, I don't need a 8-digit code for each individual lock. And I'm curious to know, when you all integrate with August slash Yale, is it going to be seamless to where they send one code? And not even, the one thing that I don't like about it is they send it automatically. Of course, you can set it for a certain threshold. They can check in at this time to this time, but I don't want to send that code to give them any sort of inclination that, okay, once you get this code, you're free to go. Or not free to go, but like you're free to check in. No, that's not the case. Once you book, I need to verify that you agree to my house rules, confirm the number of guests, so on and so forth. And I'm trying to figure out, what is that going to look like whenever y'all do integrate.
We got you covered there, Calvin. That's a fantastic reason to go ahead and utilize our services because of that point right there. We're going to send that code when you want to send your information. So when you're sending that and putting that short code in your guest message, that's when it's going to go out. So I know hosts that don't send that short code until 3:00 because I don't want them having anything beforehand. Now, to speak to your first, I don't know, Andrew, do you have any information about that, on how the code creation would work with multiple locks, or is that something we got to bring Christian up on stage to answer?
I can answer the question otherwise, but let's Andrew
Hey, Pierre.
reply first. Yeah, she's calm. Andrew?
For me, yeah, so we're associating locks to properties. So that should allow you to set the same code for all of the locks associated with the property and only send one code. But yeah, PC, you can jump in because Smartlocks is not my
exactly
specialty.
your portfolio. So I was curious to hear you. I'm sorry, that was not intended as a trap. It happened to be. So no, really.
Did you try to trap Andrew? How dare you?
I'm pushing him, challenging him. That's my job. No, that's exactly, Calvin, exactly the way it will work. We will only create, so our best effort is really to create one code for one reservation across all the locks that are associated, as Andrew was saying, with that same property. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 on 8 locks if you indeed have 8 locks. Now, this is something that I know, and Christian is hearing about that as well. That I know we're having issues, but a lot of the issues that we're experiencing with Smartlocks is really related with the specific of each individual Smartlock. But again, it works really great. I probably should not have mentioned anything about problem here because really that's too minor. Really, the way it works is that you have one guest for one reservation on one property, and we create one code for all the locks that are going to be connected to that one property, which may be also from different providers, August, Yale, Schleg, now SmartThings as well.
And Calvin,
really
just to be clear, Calvin, those are available now. So the Yale and August integrations are available to all beta users. So you can, if you're not already a beta user on your Hospitable backend, you can set that up yourself, and you could go ahead and just do a dry run with those and see what the integration looks like already.
So what do you say, Calvin? We're going to get you hooked up with one of those locks to test it out?
Crickets.
Crickets. Did I put the pressure on you, Calvin? I didn't mean to, man, but it is available for you if you go ahead to your settings, click that beta button, and you'll have access to some of our features once we start releasing them. Early access to give us some feedback, and we always appreciate all those beta users helping us develop our products to appreciate you.
Did you say beta users?
Beta users.
Beta.
Yeah, you
okay.
got baby on the brain.
Sorry, that's just me. It seems like it's not just the nose.
Such a
it attacks
dad.
the ears too.
Alrighty, Calvin. Thank you for coming up. I think that
Thank you, Calvin.
may be having some technical difficulties, but we shall move on to the next question.
And we do have.
I'm gonna move you.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
We do have Alyssa firing away those answers. Alyssa, you're awesome. So, Calvin, if you have anything else, don't hesitate to drop that in the chat. Or again, support@hospitable.com. Open up that live chat widget. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Thanks, Calvin.
We have Wayne coming up next. So I have invited you now on stage. Here we go. That was quick.
Awesome, Wayne. We appreciate all the love over there that you're sending us in the chat. How are you doing today, Wayne?
Oh, there we go. It took me a minute to remember how to
You got
unmute.
it.
It's been a while since I've been on a stage. Yeah. Woo. Hey, welcome, Joe, to the team, by the way, from the U.S. Good to hear you, buddy. Welcome. And I just want to say I connected to Smart Things. It's so easy to do. However, I just want to say that once I did that, I ran a test through the direct booking. I'm on the escalator somewhere, so some tech is got me in their escalator, and I've been escalated. But what happened was it programmed my lock immediately, which was amazing. But then when checkout came and I tried it again, it was still programmed. And so I decided to test all my past reservations. They were still live. Freaked me out. I thought, oh my God. All these codes are still live, and I need to let you know I was using RBOY apps prior to the Smart Things.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm thinking this is maybe an issue with UTech. I use UltraLock, so I'm going to figure this out. But just for anyone out there that starts this, just do yourself a favor and run a test and make sure. I mean, it's telling me, you guys are even telling me, hey, we've removed the code. It should be out. So this is probably something on the lock side, like Pierre mentioned earlier, something with the lock. But
Yeah.
it's creeping
So
me
sorry,
out
Wayne.
because I don't want to pass guests showing up. Hey, how you doing?
I'm going to your property, Wayne. I'm coming back here. And you
Come
said that
on,
you've
brother.
escalated that, right? You've gone
As
through the
long as you
support
give me a
channels to make
5-star
sure.
review, you can come back anytime.
Oh, Wayne,
Yeah.
you're getting a 10-star review after that chat. But I know Christian's on the call here, so that's definitely something that already got right into his ear there.
Yeah.
And if you've already shared it on the
Yeah.
support channel, our
Yeah.
support team's phenomenal. So as soon as you share that, we're taking a look and investigating if there's anything they can do there. And if there's not,
Well, I've been writing. Yeah, I've been
if there's
writing a
other
book to
configuration,
support. As
no worries.
everybody's been sick this week, which cracks me up. I gotta hammer you guys a little bit. You talk about working from home. You don't have to talk and you're sick. And I'm like, come on. I'm on the computer while I'm sick. Come on, guys. I'll send you some NyQuil.
Wayne, we don't need that, man. It's 2022. We're taking care of ourselves and our mental health. So, we need you to rest. We need you to be full stack because we don't want you coming back any of that, right? No, absolutely not, Wayne. You got to take some extra time there. We got to take care of mind, body, and soul, brother.
You go, brother. You go. I'm just saying, I write a book. When I don't get a response, I just keep going. I'm like, okay, here's what happened. Here's what happened. And by the time someone checks in, they're like, God, this Wayne guy's driving me nuts. He just wrote a book.
Wayne, I doubt it. They're probably so excited that you wrote all that because then they don't have to go back and forth with you and be like, okay, Wayne, did you reset the lock? Oh, no, I haven't done that yet. So when you reach out to support, if you can give us as much information as possible on that ticket, what the reservation is, what the dates are, what the property, what the lock is, our team is going to have all that information to jump in for you, for anybody else on the call as well. The more information you can provide us, the quicker you're going to get that response, and we don't have to go back and forth there because our team knows. So, Wayne, we appreciate your book.
I have
that's
an
for sure.
update to share to
Wayne, you've actually been talking with me too, so.
Yes. Hi, Alyssa. Yes,
Hi.
I know. And thank you guys for your help. And I want to say this also. What you said about AutoHost is super cool for me because I'm a small potato. I got 3 units. So I don't even have enough units to get on the AutoHost myself. And what you said was awesome to me because I was like, wow, so you're going to run, if I understood that right, you're going to use your account to verify these people before you let them book. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's part of the direct, the premium offering. So we're going to be running that because our reputation is also on the line. So I said, we're the merchant for that booking. So we have a very vested interest in that being a good guest as well. And we will share that with you. And I think, getting a little bit farther ahead of myself, and we are actually looking into a relationship where we could help you on other channels with AutoHost. Since you mentioned an issue that we're aware of with AutoHost is, they're not really able to onboard kind of the people with 5 or fewer properties, something like that.
I think it's 25 or fewer.
Yeah. So that's something that we will also look into as after direct gets pushed. That is something we've got an eye on, is helping you basically get into AutoHost for your other channels. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
If I may just provide an update to Wayne on the first issue regarding Smartlocks, Christian already did his due diligence and he's DMing me like crazy because it was already escalated to the service provider. They already had a meeting about it. And to basically escalate that as a security concern to investigate what the hell is happening. with those codes. So I hope this is a very responsive team that is based in San Francisco. That is going to be absolutely providing us an update on that, because we definitely do not want that situation to ever happen with the code still valid after the checkout time. So if that basically is not resolved, we basically halt the deployment. But so far, that's the only case that we found with that situation.
Yeah, they're actually already working
Awesome.
on fixing it right now.
Yeah. Alyssa has another update.
Awesome. Well, I've reached out to UTech also, just in case it has something to do with UTech at the UltraLock. So
Smartlocks is a bit weird on that. In that every single hub has its own kind of requirements and different implementation. As for Airboy, I believe that something that you would have to have done, but I would really recommend that you disconnect Airboy apps from first from your devices. What I've heard is really that they are passing behind our own logic and recreating the codes, basically enforcing the codes under their terms rather than under ours. Normally, that's not something that would be impacting guests, but that tends to overload devices and hubs depending on their quality of integrations with SmartThings. Is that something that you did already, Wayne?
So no, I haven't removed our boys. I just have toggled it off and thought that was enough. But if that's not, I will remove it because it's got a little toggle.
No, I'm confident that if you toggle it off, that basically is the necessary action here. I'm not asking you to go and take a leap of faith if you have experience with that particular provider.
Okay.
Thank you, Wayne, nonetheless, for escalating. And as you can hear, we're already working on fixing that very critical problem.
All right. Thanks, guys.
No, thank you, Wayne. We appreciate you. And I do just want to highlight that. I know that there are a lot of providers out there, right? Nobody's going to be perfect. There's going to be a lot of issues that pop up with a lot of these different softwares. Really, the way to judge and evaluate is like, what do they do with those issues? How long does it take to get a response? How long can somebody actually help me out? I mean, we've had multiple issues that we've talked about here. Our team's already well aware of it. Like, we have a really great and responsive team. We don't sit well when things aren't working for you. So our team does a great job to make sure that we're escalating. We have those procedures in place so the engineers get eyes on it. And, we're doing everything that we can to move to that. So we appreciate all your patience. And again, we appreciate you reporting those issues as they pop up. So thanks a ton there, Wayne.
Alrighty, Wayne. I'm going to move you back to the audience now. I've got a bunch of people wanting to come up, so that's great. Let's see who's next. We have, I believe it was Noah, but it's not loading for some reason. There we go. Okay, so Noah we have. I've just sent you an invite. Come on up. Feels like a game show.
You're the next contestant on Hospitable's Town Hall. Hey, Noah, can you unmute yourself? All right, let's see. That's the big test. There we go. What's going on, brother?
How you doing? I'm good. So I have two questions, and first one is I just got all my listings on Booking, and Booking requires me to collect from the guest. So I was curious, would the direct booking page be useful for this? Is like the credit card fee on that going to be, equal or less than what I'm using with PayPal? Because right now I'm sending links to all my guests that book through booking.com. So is this a good use of the new direct booking page or no?
Not at this time, but and you didn't choose to allow Booking to collect your payments for you? Because there is the payments by Booking option that's available to you.
Yeah, it's not available to me yet. I'm not sure. Maybe it's because my listings are not in the U.S. And I'm new to Booking. But no, they require me to collect when the guest shows up.
Interesting. Yeah. So as of right now, we wouldn't be able to allow you to process that payment. Ray just sent me. Ray, you're awesome. Thanks so much, brother. But Ray just let me know that it does take 3 months, so it should be available after 90 days for you to go with that payments by Booking option. So for right now, I don't believe that we'd have that solution for you. But again, if you're going to be using the direct, you may want to consider, if you're going to be using our direct, you may want to consider jumping on the Stripe account. I know their fees are going to be a bit higher than PayPal, I believe. But yeah, Andrew, sorry to jump on this because this is all over you. Anything that you want to add to that?
Well, no, that is one of the next steps we do have on the roadmap is, once we have this nice payment solution set up for direct, both payments and payouts, that is something we're looking at letting you then kind of port over to other channels. So you've already done your KYC, you've got your payout set up. It makes perfect sense. I can't give you a date on when that's going to be possible though. So you're probably going to need some kind of a solution in the interim. Depending, I mean, I hope we're faster than the 90 days that Booking needs for their solution.
Yeah.
So maybe it does work out for you.
Cool. All right. My other question was, and this is simple, maybe it's something wrong with my phone, but are people receiving pop-up notifications through the Hospitable app when a guest books, or because my property manager and we're not receiving pop-up messages. We're not receiving those notifications, and we've checked through the phone, we've checked through the app. As curious, is it something that other people are getting?
Yeah, you should be getting, we use a service called Pusher to send those push notifications for messages for different events. As far as I know, there aren't any known issues with that. I've got it working on my phone. It's maybe something that you'd want to bring to support, and they can maybe help you try and debug what the setting is for that. It sounds like a permissions.
Yeah, that may be a permission thing, and we will one signal for that. Not for sure, that's completely. But yeah, escalate that matter to support Noah, because we'll see. Push notifications are very important.
Yeah, very important. Thank you guys very much. I love the product.
We appreciate you. I was going to say I love you too, Noah, but I don't think we're there yet. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you.
Alrighty, Noah. I'm going to put you back in the audience now and get the next person up on stage. Alrighty, I think we have Jason next. Jason, you're up.
What's going on, Jason?
Okay, I figured it out. All right. Question regarding a new feature that was, or rather functionality. It was launched this morning with Airbnb. So if you're on the call and aren't aware, panel or guests, they now allow us to provide detailed reviews of guests. So like, did they follow house rules? Did they check out on time? Kind of like how we get rated on, or our properties get rated on location, value, communication, etc. We have similar subcategories to rate our guests on. And my first thought was, how is that going to impact the auto review feature as it sits today? Will it just stop working? And well, I guess that's the first question. Second question is, are you guys aware of this feature? Did you know ahead of time, or do we have something in the works, or like what's our outlook on being able to maintain automation of guest reviews?
So I don't know, Pierre, I don't know if that was something that came down beforehand through Airbnb.
Yeah, sorry.
I know that we had a bunch of new updates today with their winter release. So, those more detailed reviews, and then the retaliatory review removal is something that they must have been paying attention to Hospitable in our bad review feature.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, but I think those things are, I mean, I've yet to see, you couldn't have the time yet to go over those Airbnb winter updates. What I can tell you is that it would not have been possible without quite a bit of a heads up on their Airbnb official API partners. So we would have expected to have some kind of a notice if there was any change. So I don't think nothing will change for API connected or accounts that are integrated with us on Airbnb. For the meantime, yeah. Probably the thing that I don't know if have you seen it actually changed? So
no, I have not. I haven't had a guest check out.
Because Airbnb always makes it a point to really go strong on the marketing of it, and then basically deploying it progressively, rolling it out. So it's not something that is necessarily going to be changing overnight.
Yeah.
It's something that they are announcing now, get some feedback, and they decide that on a bit of a strategy. But from what I'm seeing on the Airbnb docs here, I don't think there is any change on the affecting reviews. Thank you for. I mean, we're going to review that obviously once that event is over. But obviously that's going to be a good thing to look out for if there is any change of behavior in relation with Airbnb.
Yeah,
On
it seems like it seems like it will require, also some additional, UI, as to,
I'm not sure.
are we gonna automatically rate them at 5 stars on, house rules, on,
Yeah.
checkout time, and, checkout rules, whatever.
Yeah, so the things right now that at least are supported on the Airbnb API side is really rating on cleanliness, on communication, and respect of house rules.
Okay.
So depending on what they said in the announcement, I'm not familiar with it, but so far there is no expectation that there will be any kind of change yet. We'll check. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah,
for those hospitable team members, you can check the industry channel. We shared an email earlier that details the updates. Looks like they're doing basically. It looks like there's a lot more about protecting yourselves from guests, enhanced reservation screening, right? Enhanced guest identity verification, $3 million damage protection, new categories for your search, and then easier air cover. I think faster payouts was another thing as I'm reading through it here. Fast pay, so you can get your payout in a debit card in 30 minutes. Ooh, faster than you can get a pizza these days, right? And the retaliatory review protections and new category controls.
Yeah, all in all, it seemed like a great release.
Yeah, and it doesn't say anything to those release, like Pierre said, probably things that they'll be rolling out. But their winter 2022 release was announced, like you said today. Thanks, Jason.
You bet. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, Jason. I think we have time for one more question, so I'm going to pop you back in the audience now. Look. And we had Chris up next. So, Chris, you are the final contestant of this evening. I've invited you up on stage.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies.
No.
Hello, everybody. This is Chris here.
Chris, how you doing today, brother?
Thank you for joining us.
All right, it's running in first, but it's all right. Cool. I just wanted to, in fact, I'll just comment on this whole rollout for Airbnb. They did also mention, a new guest verification, feature, that they have. So I guess that's something good for everybody. And I don't know how you guys will be able to implement that with what we have actually. But the main thing I wanted to bring your attention to, I've been using Home Assistant. I don't know if you guys know about this automation platform at all. I've been using it to do quite a lot of cool things as far as my Airbnbs are concerned, with automations, with locks, and everything else that I could automate. And what I was thinking is, and as you guys are using also smart things, and have you guys thought of trying to have a connection with Home Assistant? Because like a lot of locks are already integrated with Home Assistant, and the security features that they've got on there are quite robust, and they seem to take that very seriously to the point where if there's a lock that they're not sure about, they'll allow you to lock it with automation, but not to unlock it until it's completely verified by them. So maybe that could probably be something, if that's something good to, if you could integrate with Home Assistant, that would allow quite a lot of cool things that I've been doing for a while. Well, I guess not everyone is a geek like me, because I do spend sometimes creating the automations and then creating codes from Airbnb and sending the messages out, things like that, and automate pretty much. I could almost replicate everything, including sending emails with the code through Home Assistant. So it's something I think that might be interesting to look at, and it's open source. So I don't know what you guys would think about that.
I mean, it says here that they have an integration with SmartThings. Would that be able to kind of help? I wonder how that could work in some way, shape, or form if we connect to SmartThings and then you having your equipment connected to Home Assistant.
Here's the thing. I don't know, like, if we have time to discuss that. It's just that I used SmartThings before from an automated, like, from a home automation standpoint. I migrated to Home Assistant because of the flexibility and also the fact that Samsung, they would sometimes decided to change something that completely break your Home Assistant, like your automation. For instance, I had security cameras that was running on SmartThings, and then they decided to change the way authentication was made, and then everything just I just have like all my cameras from Samsung they just got bricked. I just had to buy new ones. So and also Home Assistant, it runs locally. For a lot of us who are concerned with privacy issues and all, and then we do have the choice to keep our Home Assistant in the cloud or just keep it locally and but have it. But the problem I see with Home Assistant though, not everyone will have the technical knowledge to manage it. But if there's an implementation that could make like a smooth connection from Hospitable to Home Assistant, that'd probably be a good thing. Or at least for the ones like myself who don't mind spending all night till 3 in the morning to put something together. But that, by the way, that's my job. I do like home automation and I'm a developer amongst other things. And so that's the pretty much the main drawback I could see, or like it might not be something for everybody, but there's the number of us, like for myself, if the guest is supposed to leave at 12 and it's 12:15, I just, the lights just start going off. I don't sure of the electricity, but they start to understand, kind of like, you're in a restaurant and the lights start going off. It's like, oh snap, the lights are going off. I might as well try to pack my bag right now. So so I guess maybe it might be something to look into.
Yeah, I mean, I would, I've personally never heard of Home Assistant. It does look like something
Really?
that, yeah, absolutely not. No.
Wow.
Yeah, no. I mean, even
Make
looking at
it
their webs.
make it two, and in 6 years of operation, that's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Yeah.
And I think from what I'm seeing, it's a significantly larger usage scenario. I can appreciate how it could be appealing to early adopters and more developer stack. I think for us, really the value of our product is really in the ease of use, as small in need for setup as possible, and that's why we want to try and automate, including when something goes wrong, we tell you about it and we give you instructions. But the thing is really to make it super easy to use. If you tell me that you need to set things up, that's already a bit of a downer for me, and a bit of a downer I think for a lot of us. Every time that we try to do something that required 2-3 steps and added friction to get the value delivered was something that basically got us quite
But
in the way,
Chris,
simply.
definitely something to go to
Yeah,
feedback.hospitable.com, right? Add it to that
absolutely.
board. Let your friends know, hey, go ahead and upvote that. We do pay attention to that. We're about to have our roadmap discussion, so we're always taking a look at those feature. And for anybody else here, if you have a request, you want that software integration, you want that specific feature, feedback.hospitable.com. I assure you, we take a look at that, and it's something that we will consider when roadmap time comes. So definitely jump on there, share it, and add that vote. I don't even know if there's one there, but you can create that card. Or if you have any trouble, you can always reach out to the support team, give them that feature request. They'll go ahead and process it for you, and we'll pay attention to it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Actually,
Alrighty.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much, Chris. We'll move you back to the audience now. That's all the time we had for today. I see that Pierre's been able to pry himself away from the baby for a bit.
oh no.
But thank you all for joining. Just a quick reminder that this will be available for you tomorrow on the Hospitable YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and have a look about some of the juicy news we talked about, make sure to go and check out there and click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any industry updates we upload there. So I'll hand over to Pierre to give those final words and keep your questions for 2 weeks when we have our next one. Sorry, I'm off. Bye.
Thank you, Daniel. Just one thing. So I've just checked on Airbnb. What Airbnb is offering to make the data that they collect on reviews more available publicly, so that if they rate you, if you rate a guest on cleanliness, they want to make that more available for the future host that will host them. Which is actually genuinely a very good choice, I believe. But that's something that probably they would receive a lot of feedback on. And same thing as well from guest to host. So if guests are reviewing a property, they will also make available more of the ratings that they are offering, that they are making available for guests as well.
Because you can see that, right? On the property side, like you can see the
cannot see that.
cleanliness. No, you
You
can't see
can
the.
see the average, but you cannot see the individual comments that was left by the guests rating the cleanliness about the things. And you cannot highlight the
Okay.
fact that host, that guest, for example, left a rating of 3 stars for cleanliness. They work on aggregates. They don't work on kind of
Yeah.
individual comments.
But that's what I mean
So
for the individual property, you have the aggregates, so it would make sense that you would have the aggregates for the individual user as well, right? You want to see how cleanly
that's
Matthew Demetrio is.
the way I understand it is basically every review will basically highlight its own cleanliness and check-in respect and etc. rules directly on the profile of guests or on the listings. That's basically how I'm reading it. So that's something that's going to be interesting, but that's more to check on the guest profiles and on listing pages from what I'm seeing. I may be completely wrong, but that's basically what's looking at the article is making me feel. Anyway, thank you very much. I think we have hit a record number of attendance overall, 325 people showing up during this town hall, and that's not counting the ones that are going to be available for replays. So thank you to everyone that's basically watching this on YouTube, and probably in other regions that don't have the chance of having the option to leave us a question live. If that's the case, you can always drop an email to support@hospitable.com, and that will be escalated internally. I think every issue that was discussed a little bit during this town hall was already escalated to our support team and already handled to the best of our capacity. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of your week. A fantastic weekend, plenty of check-ins, and see you in 2 weeks, same place, same time. Thank you.